Hi there and welcome. I'm Jess Nelson and we are going to do Pilates on the porch today, brought to you from the YMCA of Greater Michiana. For today's class, we're going to be using a Pilates ring. So if you don't have one of those, this class is not going to be easy to adapt without because we are going to kind of center around this ring today. But there are plenty of other classes out there for you to pick, so just go ahead and check another one out where it doesn't need that prop. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to find ourselves with that lovely posture that we always find ourselves in before we start a Pilates class. Feet are firmly planted on the ground, knees are over the ankles, hips are over those knees, ribs are stacked nicely over the hips, shoulders rolled back and down. I always like to loosen up that neck, and then ears kind of over the tip of that shoulder. We're going to go ahead and start our class with 3 nice big deep breaths. So we're going to inhale through the nose as we come up and exhale through the mouth as we come down. And inhale up and exhale down. Last one here, inhale up and exhale down. Nice. What that nice deep breath does is helps us get centered so we can be here now for the work that we're going to do in our bodies. So go ahead and grab that ring, and we're just going to start getting familiar with it. So it's just going to be in between our hands. Our hands are going to be open on either side of the padding of the ring, and we're just going to start by doing some breathing patterns. And so we're going to inhale as we push the ring out and away, and exhale as we push it in and bring it back. It's a gentle engagement as you push out and in. You'll start to feel some muscles activate in your chest and your arms. We're not working too crazy just yet. We're just kind of getting everything warmed up. Out and in. Let's go ahead and take it up and down next. So we're bringing it in with an exhale, in and up, out and down, in and up, out and down. Now let's get a little rotation with that. So we're going to hold it right in the center. Maybe our feet go a little bit wider. We're going to inhale, rotate the torso to one side. Exhale, back through center. Inhale, twist. Exhale, center. Inhale, twist. Exhale, center. Inhale, twist. Exhale, center. Last one here. Inhale, twist. Exhale, center. We got to finish it up on the other side. Inhale and exhale. We're going to find our way toward the back of our mat. We're going to take that ring and we're going to put our hands to keep them on the outside, reach it up high, and we're going to do our roll down. So we're going to go ahead and hug the belly in, shoulders are back and down, and we're going to reach the ring up, and as we scoop and reach over, we're going to take that ring down toward the ground with us. Once we get down here to a position that's comfortable and we feel a nice long stretch along the back side of the body, we're going to take that ring and just twist it to the left side of our body, opening up the side, to the right side of the body, and bringing it back through center, twisting it in the opposite direction. And back through center. Pushing the belly button back toward the spine, we're going to restack those bones one at a time, coming back up to standing, taking the ring up overhead. This time, let's go ahead and flip our hands to the inside of the ring so palms are facing outward on the inside of those pads, and we're going to stretch up and over. So that looks like a reach to the sky, and then nice rainbow arc to open the side body. Breathing real deep, feeling that air go into that opening side lung. And bringing it back through center, reaching up, and opposite side. Back up through center. Let's do one more on each side with those. Reach up and over. And up and over. Okay, we're going to set that ring down for now. Finding our way back to the back of the mat. Reaching up overhead, coming down into a roll down, and then walking it out to hands and knees. In our hands and knees position, we're making sure that our fingers are spread nice and wide, our wrists are directly under our shoulder joint, our knees are right under our hip joint, and we feel a nice long line from head to tail. In this position, we're just going to pedal through a couple cat-cow poses. So what that will look like is as you exhale, you'll push into the mat with your knees and your hands and arch your back, tucking your head and your tail under, feeling that beautiful rainbow all along the backside of your body. And then on an inhale, the belly sags and the head and the tail come to meet in the back. Obviously they don't meet, but they really want to reach each other. And then we exhale and go in the opposite direction. And let the belly sag. And it's like our head and our tail are all of us. After we get out of quarantine, we want to all hug and shake hands, but we can't. So this is the new normal, folks. Get used to it. All right, let's do one more in each direction. And sag. And back through center. Push those hips back over those heels. Stretch the hands out in front of you. Forehead comes to the mat. Nice, beautiful child's pose. All right. Feeling like we're warmed up, feeling good. If you're not warmed up yet, do a little bit more to kind of loosen up and warm up all those muscles. If you're feeling like getting straight to work, let's do that together. So we're going to take that ring and we're going to find our way back down now to our mats lying on our back. We're going to start with the ring around our legs. So you're going to take that ring and it's going to be just above the knee joint coming up toward your hips. So in this position, if you've been doing Pilates for some time, all of this is going to be old hat to you, but for those of you that are new to this program, I want to make sure that you get exactly what you need to be safe and get the most out of your workout here today too. So I want you to kind of hug in all around your waistline, and then I want you to engage the pelvic floor, so that's that where you're trying to cut off the flow of urine. And then when you put your hands behind your head, you're going to see your elbows in your peripheral vision. You're going to float that upper body up into a tiny little baby ab curl, keeping a distance between your chin and your chest, and your gaze is out over that ring. And right here is a lot of work. I want you to float those legs up into what we call a tabletop position, where the knees are up over the hips, and push outward on that ring. You get to decide how much pressure you want to put on that ring, but at least have a little bit of a gentle push. In this position, this is going to be kind of our challenge position, and now we're going to alternate where we're going to tap the toes down toward the mat, not letting our back or spine arch up off the mat, and then we're going to take the ab curl down. Up with the ab curl, down with the toes. Toes come back up, head comes back down. And we're just going to go through these. Just a couple sets more. All the while, that powerhouse, that core, all those muscles that we hugged in, are engaged to keep us safe, and they're starting to really get to shaking and activating. So we're building good muscles, which is going to help us with core stability, which helps us walk around life with balance, grace, and beauty. Who doesn't want more of that? All right, bring those down, shake it out for a second, maybe let your legs sway side to side. So we worked with it where we were pushing pressure on the outside of the ring. What if we change it and now we put it on our inner thighs? So just where it was on the outside, we're going to put it inside, not on the knee joint, but inside the thighs, and we're going to have to give it a gentle squeeze. So depending on the size of your ring, this could be a little bit uncomfortable. You may just want to stick with having it on the outside if you have a very large ring. They do come in different sizes. So we're going to set ourselves up the same way, floating up into that little ab curl, hugging all in that powerhouse, that core, floating the legs up into that tabletop position, and now we're squeezing with our inner thighs on that ring, and we're going to do the same thing. Tap the toes down toward the mat, bring them back up, bring the ab curl down, float it back up, tap, float, down, up, tap, up, down, float. 2 more sets of this will be enough. Up and down, and up and down, up. Take that ring out for now. Stretch yourself out long in both directions and feel a nice long full body stretch, feeling some of that release in what we just activated there in our abdomen. Couple deep breaths here. Okay, so we're going to flow into some classical Pilates moves. with just a little bit of bonus of having this ring for a little extra oomph. So if you've done the 100, you kind of know what that looks like. If you've never done the 100, this will be new and you'll get to see it for the first time with a ring. So we're going to go ahead and take this ring, and if you are at a point in your fitness journey, your wellness journey, where keeping your knees above your hips is enough for you when we come up into this position and we slap our hands on either side, then you want the ring right here under your knees. If you are of a talent that you can extend your legs either straight up or in that 45-degree angle for full expression, the ring is going to be around just by your ankles. So pick where you want that ring to be, and then we're going to set ourselves up and we're going to do the full 100. No breaks this morning, baby, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you are. We're just going to do it to it. So hands are up above your chest as if you were holding a box up there. Float those legs up into that tabletop position. We all start here. We're going to float up the upper body, arms come down to the side, and then we're going to extend our legs into whichever position we want. And now we're pumping those arms for 5 inhales and 5 exhales, and here we go. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, halfway there, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, last one, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, come back up through that starting position, head comes down, legs come down, ring comes off, and you know what to do. You want to stretch it out along both ways. Get that relief. Don't store it up. Whew, a couple deep breaths here. All right, next we're going to do the double leg stretch with the ring. So we're going to take that ring back around those legs, and it can be by the ankles or on the thighs. Either one will work here. Sorry, excuse me. All this beautiful spring weather is great and the sun is lovely, but with all the pollen and everything, my allergies are going nuts, so I apologize. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and have it on right by my ankles. We're gonna hug the legs in, and we're gonna hug the hands in, so they're kind of hovering. We're in our ab curl, the hands are hovering by the ring here. So we're gonna have that outward pressure on the ring, nice and equal, and then we're gonna extend the legs out long, bring the arms up overhead, and then sweep the arms back around and bring the legs in. That's 1. We're gonna do 8 of these. So here we go. We're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. That's 3 and 4, abs engaged, and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Slowly bring that all back down. Keep that ring right there for now, because that's where we're going to have it next, because we're going to roll right on into the double straight leg stretch. So we have options for that. If you'd like, you can take your hands into a nice little triangle shape and you can put them under your sacrum back here, your tailbone, to kind of give you a little bit of more of a tip and a protection on your hips and your low back. Or you can come up into that ab curl just like we did with everything else. So in either position, the legs are going to be nice and long and tall with the feet flexed, outward pressure on that ring, and I'm going to go ahead and take the modification for my low back. I can get readjusted. So here, collarbones are wide if you're down on the mat, and we're just going to, using that outward pressure on the ring, lower the legs 5, 6 inches, 7 inches, and bring them back up to the sky. This time, as you go, you're trying to really keep that back and the hips working together, that stability, to make sure that you're not arching that low back up off the mat. You're not cramming it down, but you're also not arching and flopping around. This is a very controlled movement. We only have 3 more. You can experiment with how low you want to lower those feet. Once you start to feel an extreme arch in that low back, you know you've gone too far. Just dial it back a notch. Last one here. And bringing it up, hugging the knees in. You can take that ring off. And let's windshield wiper those legs side to side and feel the stretch. We're going to move into some oblique work next. So we're going to take the ring, put our legs in the ring, and they're going to be just above the knees. And I'll show you where we're going before we get off to the races. So we're going to go just like we did in our little core activation segment where we got ourselves all fired up. We're going to engage all those muscles around the midline, midsection. We're going to float the upper body up. We're going to float the legs up. We're going to have outward pressure on that ring. And from here, we're going to twist the torso to one side of the body, reach the hand to the outside of that ring, the opposite hand to the opposite knee, bring it back, come through center, twist in the opposite direction, and now that hand comes to the outside of the opposite knee, back through center, and then you can come down. We're going to do 8 sets of those, so we're doing 8 on each side. Here we go. All right, hug it all in, float up into your ab curl, legs up into that tabletop position, twist and reach. Don't forget to breathe. Twist and reach. There's 1. Twist, reach, twist, reach. 2. You can come down between them. I'm not coming down. I'm just staying up because I want to get it done. You can go down and come back up each time, but it's a preference. There's no one wrong way to do it. Twist and reach. We're halfway there. Twist and reach. 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 We're on our last one. Twist and reach. Twist and reach. Coming back through to center, bringing it down with control. And there we are. Oh my goodness. I hope that you're feeling that nice fire in your abdomen, your core, all these great muscles that keep us upright against gravity, because I'm feeling it, which means that we're doing good work together. We got one more thing here before we change positions. So lying on our back, the next sequence we're going to do is just windshield wiper legs. And so you can keep the ring here if you prefer to do that with knees. So if you have tight hamstrings and you have a really hard time straightening those legs, I recommend that you take them to a knee and keep the ring here. And then you'll have your arms out toward a T or a Y, either way on the side body, opening or making sure those collarbones stay wide. And we're just going to just twist the knees to one side and then use all those muscles in your stomach to bring them back up. So you can do that with knees, or if you're fancy and you can go ahead and straighten your legs nice and long and point those toes, that ring can go up by your ankles and we do the same thing. So we're twisting to one side, zipping it back up through center. We're only doing 6 sets of these. Back up through center. Each time, just testing how far you can go, where you can get that whole unit of your legs back up to the sky, and then reach in the center, like you're trying to reach the ceiling with those toes. Reach. We're halfway there. I'm convincing myself we can get through this. Okay. You don't have to go far to really feel it. Last set. And slowly bend those knees, bring those feet down, let the ring drop off. Let's do that full body stretch one more time, shall we? Oh, goodness. Roll to one side and transition up to seated. Take a moment to catch your breath. That was a lot of very core focused work, so good job, you did it. We're gonna move on to our stomachs next. So this ring can be handy. We're not gonna need it right to start with, but just have it close by so that you can reach it. And in this position, we're going to flip on over and come on down. And we're going to have our nose toward the mat Hands are right above our shoulders, and our feet are long down at the end of the mat. We're walking them away. So we have a nice long line of our body here on the mat. We're just going to start by keeping that length in the body and peeling up off the mat into our little baby swan, and then bringing it down. I have a Charlie horse in my left foot. Whew. Bringing it up and down. Let's go ahead and float those hands up with us so we don't have those kickstands anymore. Float up and down. Couple more here. Engaging the core will give you a little bit more height. Remember to breathe. And up and down. One more. And up and down. Okay, so we're going to bring this ring and we're going to have it right here in front of us. Our hands are going to be open on either side of the ring, and our shoulders are right above our elbows in this position. Our hips are the anchor, so go ahead and nestle your hips down into the mat and lengthen through the spine. Head stays in line. It's not looking up, it's not hanging down, but it's right here. It's a natural extension. And we're going to do single leg kicks. So we're going to flex the foot when we pump it up toward our butt, and then point it as we take it away. And we're going to do it like this. It's going to be an inhale, inhale, exhale, reach. Inhale, inhale, exhale, reach. So we're going to do 8 sets of those. So here we go. You can have a little bit of pressure on that ring if you want a little more, otherwise it's just there as a placeholder. So engage the core so you're not shaking, and here we go. Inhale, inhale, reach. 1, 2, reach. 1, 2, reach. Kick, kick, 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 reach. Halfway there. Kick, kick, reach. 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 Last set. Kick, kick, reach. Kick, kick, reach. Take that ring aside for a moment. Slowly and gently curl your toes. Push yourself back up through and take a child's pose to get some release and relief on that low back. We just have a couple more things on our belly left, and then we'll come up to a standing position, just so you kind of know where we're heading. So let's come on back down, and we're going to take the ring this time, and it's going to go down toward our feet. So it's going to go around our ankles. So bringing it there, and I got to get situated just above the ankles. And now the nose is down in the mat. Hands are down by the hips. Palms are up to the ceiling. I bet you already know where we're going with this. Some of you regulars already see what this setup is. We're going to rockets. So we're not clenching our butt cheeks together. Instead, we're kind of taking our glutes and firing them and trying to reach them down toward our feet. It's a mind-body connection. You might not get it. Reaching the hands down toward the feet. We're going to float the legs up, outward pressure on that ring. Float the upper body up and feel the length and power and energy all up and down our body, and then bring it down. We're doing 4 more of these. We're remembering to breathe. We're not holding our breath at the top. At your pace, follow your breathing. Really just engage everything. Fire it all up. Doing work for our backs and strengthening our backs is so healthy for us in our society to counterbalance all the activities that we do where we're hunched over screens, over phones, over work, over the stove, whatever you're doing. All right, take that ring off and let your legs windshield wiper side to side for some relief. You can turn your head to one side or the other. All right, last set here on our stomachs. Let's get set up for swimming. So the feet can be a little bit wider than just straight back. Maybe they're at each corner of your mat. Hands come out. and they're above you, and your shoulders are slid back and down. We're going to plant the right hand and the left foot and push them into the earth. Then we're going to float that opposite pair up and reach and bring it down. We're doing that for 8 on this same side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Plant that floating pair now, and the opposite pair comes up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, let's push through to hands and knees. And let's do a couple cat-cows here to stretch the back out. So arch the spine, head and tail come under, belly sags, head and tail come back. About 2 more of those. All right, from here, we're gonna go ahead and come to a standing position. So let's go ahead and tuck those toes underneath, float the knees up off the mat, push up through downward dog so our tail is hiked toward the ceiling. And that should feel pretty good stretch after that work too. And then we're gonna walk our hands back toward our feet and roll the spine on up to a standing position. Okay, let's grab that ring and do some upper body work. So we're gonna take the ring and we're gonna have it in between our hands. And the first thing we're gonna do is called hug a tree. And so it's exactly what it sounds like. So if you're gonna come up around a tree and hug it, you don't just come up and just kind of, you're not just, that's a little, whatever, right? You're reaching around to hug that gigantic, beautiful oak tree in your front yard. So when you do that, you feel these shoulder blades kind of come apart, right? So it's not just in your arms, it's in your whole body. You feel that whole thing come around. So I want you to have that idea in your head when you're doing this. So you're going to hold that ring and you're going to kind of take it out like you're hugging that tree, so you can feel that engagement all through your chest and your side bodies here. And as you're holding and hugging that tree, you got your core engaged nice and tall, and then you're going to press into that ring. Press and release. Press. So you feel it in your chest, you feel it in your biceps, you feel it in your shoulders, and you can press as hard or as little as you want. You get to tune in to what exercise intensity level you need for now, okay? So to press and release, we've got 4 more. I'm shaking with this. I mean, that really is, when you kind of hone in on the right muscles, it really gets them going. Last one here. Whew, shake it out. So that was our hug a tree. I like to just even move a little bit. I'm just standing still. The next one, I don't really have a fancy name for it, but it's kind of like a delt lat thing. So we're working deltoids and latissimus muscles. So what we do is we take the top hand, so we're going to start with our right hand on top, and the palm's facing to the ground, and our hand is on the pad. The left hand, palm is facing down on the pad. So I want you to see that this shoulder on top, the ring is not going to go higher than the shoulder. It's going to go straight out from the shoulder. And from here, we're finding that beautiful posture that we always maintain when we're doing good workouts, right? Core is engaged, nice and tall from the spine, shoulders are relaxed. And we're going to put as much or little energy, as we talked about, into ripping this ring apart. So we're doing opposing forces. Up and down and release. Rip it apart and release. Rip and release. We're going to do 10 of these. Really put your mind on those muscles and think about all those opposing forces fighting each other. And then release. We're halfway there. You don't have to go fast. 2 more. There it is. Shake it out. Now I got to do it on the other side. We don't have to turn around like I'm turning around. You can stand in the same position. I'm just giving you a variety of viewpoints here. But this time now, so our left hand was on the bottom before, so our left hand's going to be on top, palms still face down. And you can even have a staggered step. If you didn't like that, that posture that we had before, you could stagger your step here, and you can do the same thing. And you can push in and oppose each other and release. We're doing 10. Push and release. Push, release, push, and release. Push, release. We're halfway there. Push and release. Push, release. Push, release. 2 more. Push, release. Last one. And release. Whew. Shake it out. Might feel good to open the arms. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's take that ring, put our hands on the inside of it, and just stretch the arms out. So we kind of have our thumbs hooked on the inside of the ring, shoulders are back and down, and just stretch those arms. Feels good. And that kind of leads us into where we're going next. So now take your hands to the outside of that ring. I want you to have your feet planted hip width distance apart, slight bend in the knees, and even like you're kind of going into the wind a little bit. So you're swaying a little bit forward, maybe hinged at the hips a little bit. And then you're going to have that ring down and behind you. And this is hard, so you won't press a lot into it. But you're going to press into the ring and release. We're doing 10. Press into the ring, release. In, release, in, release, in, release. You could do this even slower and do it for like 3 counts and release. I'm just showing you the motions, and then we can play with it later. Halfway there, and in, release. I'm not going to torture you today with holding it for 3 counts back here. It would be awful. But it'll build good muscle. We only have 2 more here, folks. 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and stretch those triceps. So you can use the ring if you want and kind of have it behind you, and then grab at the ring and stretch your triceps this way. Breathing into it, and then taking it the other way so the other hand has it. If that's too awkward, just do the normal tricep stretch where you do this when you bring the hand behind your head and pull down on your elbow. Whatever you get, make sure you get the stretch. And then shake that out. All right, let's go ahead and move on to side lying work on our mat. So now we're going to come down to laying on our sides and bringing our ring with us. So we're coming down here. We're going to have the bottom foot leg just inside that ring. So it's not on the ankle, it's just above the ankle. We're going to come down, set ourselves up where our bottom arm is our pillow. Top leg just hangs out on top of the roller or the ring for now. And our hips are nicely stacked, one on top of the other. We're not leaning back too far or leaning forward. Core's engaged. You can almost feel a little gap on that side body between you and the mat. Top hand can be here for stability and balance. So the first thing we're going to do as we're here is we're going to think about engaging that core to keep us stable. We're going to reach that leg long, that top leg really long, and keep that length. So we're going to only lift the leg 2 or 3 inches. And then as we bring it down, this is that slow count I was talking about. We're going to slow burn. We're going to bring it down. We're going to press into the ring, resist that bounce back that the ring is trying to give you. Squish the ring as much as you can with your inner thigh, outer thigh, and then resist that bounce as you let go of the ring. You can see it's going to bounce a little bit, but resist as you release, and then bring it back up. That was 1. We're doing 8 of these. So this is slow and controlled. Squeeze with even pressure, and then release with even release pressure. And lift and lower. That was only 2. This is going to take us a little while, so settle in. Be here now. Let go of anything you might be thinking about what you need to do today, what you did yesterday. None of that matters right now. All that matters is that you're respecting and honoring your body and making sure that you can keep good health, get us through these days. I think that was about halfway. Don't cheat yourself. Nice even pressure. If you found that your belly started to sag out, hug it back in. Maybe your shoulders are creeping to your ears. Just gentle, relax those. I've got one more here, I believe. Make it the best one. Squish it, squish it, squish it. Slowly release it. We'll hover that foot, and now we're doing little arcs. We're gonna make little rainbows. So the toe is gonna be pointed, and we're gonna tap down in front of our mat, arc it over that ring, and tap it down behind the mat. Keep those hips nice and stable. Arc and tap. We're only doing 6 of these. There's 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. So the next thing we're going to do is take that leg and put it inside the ring. And so if you've ever played Operation, the game, you don't want to touch the outside of where you're trying to get that little part out of not the dead body, oh my gosh, out of our patient, right? Okay, so that's the same concept here. We don't want to touch the ring on the inside. We're going to do tiny little circles. So you're pointing that toe, whoops, I already failed. And you're doing tiny little circles. It's not a lot of space to work with that other leg in your way. I'm gonna make sure what I'm doing. Might have to bend that knee out of your way to get those circles in there. It's the idea, it's a challenge, you gotta think about it. Stop, take the circles in the opposite direction. I'm a lot better doing that direction. You might find the same thing. One way might work a little bit better for you than the other way. Reach that foot long, and then hug it in, pat it out, get it a little relief. Nice little rub. We got one more thing on the side before we flip over and repeat the whole sequence. So these are called bananas, and they're fun. Oh, and it's so cute because my ring is yellow. We get to have yellow bananas today. So we're gonna start with just doing the lower body, and the upper body's gonna stay still. So you're gonna have that opposing pressure, float both feet up, and it's like a side crunch, right? So just bringing those legs up, the ring helps you stay honest because both those legs are working together to bring them up. If you want more, this hand can slide down the hip as you come up into a little banana. That's why it's called that, because we curve up into a banana. That might be too much. You might still need this balance, and that's okay too. And you're just crunching on the side. We only have 3 more to go here. We're doing 6. Remember to breathe. And last one. Whew. All right. We got to set ourselves up and do that all on the other side. So move yourself over. Get yourself situated. Move my mic. And bottom foot goes into that ring. Top leg goes on top. Your arm is your pillow. Nice stability. Core is engaged. Here we go. We lift a couple inches, reach the foot long, smash that ring down with even, powerful pressure. Resist the bounce as you release and come back up. We're doing 8 of these on this side too. Keep all those muscles engaged the whole time. Get the most out of this workout. You're spending about an hour with me today, and I want it to be the most valuable hour you spend today focused on you. I'm selfish that way. Kind of salty. I don't know what my issue is today. I'm all kinds of spunky, but that's what you get. We're rolling into our 8th week of being home, and we're all dealing with issues. We're about halfway there. We're all dealing with issues and working through emotions. We've had sadness, we've had grief, we've had anger, we've had all kinds of stuff, but we have hope, and that's what we need right now, and we need togetherness. And what we have to make sure, well, we got a couple more here as I ramble, is that hope doesn't stop us from adapting, because sometimes when we're hanging on to hope of coming back to something that we called our normal, we have to realize that we're building a new normal, and it's okay to change and adapt. All right, so now we're going to do our arcs. So we're going to tap the toe to the front and then arc it over to the back and the front. We're doing 6 of these and back. So I guess my point is, if I have a point through my rambling there, is don't get yourself stuck in the hope game of saying, I'm going to go back to what I did before, because what I've found in my life is what that has done is it lets me forgive myself for making bad decisions while we're in this kind of stuck phase. And so I'm committing to myself that I'm going to behave the way that I would have behaved, but in new circumstances, right? And just really own the chaos that we're living in and take advantage of the opportunity to build new habits, build new ways of doing things, and find our happiness here. We got one more here. So those are porch Pilates thoughts with Jess. All right, we got to take that foot into the center, maybe drop that bottom leg out of the way, tiny little circles as we reach that toe, about 8 circles in one direction. Your whole body's engaged here to keep you stable, steady and stable. Point the toe, going in the opposite direction. Remembering to breathe. And we got to do those bananas on this side. So now we have that outward pressure on the ring. Maybe just start by experimenting with both legs just to see where you are. And 2, maybe you can bring it up a little bit. And 3, and 4, and 5, and 6. Bringing that leg over, patting it out, getting a little bit of a massage there. And let's roll into a little bit more stretchy goodness. So we're going to come onto our backs. We're going to use our ring for good now instead of evil as we've done. It's not evil. It was great. It was wonderful for our bodies. I hope you feel really good leaving this session today, and even better tomorrow when you feel all that tight tone, juicy goodness in your body. So let's get set up. We're going to take the left leg, and it can be long and straight on the mat, or it can be bent. Right foot's going to come up. The pad of that ring is going to be right in the arch of the foot. And you're going to take a couple deep breaths, and we're going to stretch out that hamstring. So we have that nice long line of our hamstring back there. And we're not going to force it. We're just going to ease into it. Couple breaths here. And then we're going to take the right hand on the ring, and we're going to open the leg to the outside of the body, going just as far as it feels good to you to get an inner thigh stretch. I've got some obstacles in my path, so I'm only going to go right here for this side. But you can take it all the way down to the floor if you like. Couple deep breaths there. When you're ready, using the power of your leg and your arm, you bring that leg back up through midline. Switch hands. Now you pass it over to the left hand, and then you take that foot across your body, twisting the torso in the opposite direction, bringing that down just as far as it feels good, and get a nice full body twist and release all along the outside of that leg after all that work we just did. When you're ready, bringing it back up through center, let's get that hamstring one more time on this side. So pulling knee to nose, release, big deep breath. That foot comes out of there, we switch sides. Now with the left foot's in there on the arch, right leg is either long on the mat or bent. And like most bodies, we're not perfectly symmetrical, so one side might be a little bit tighter than the other, or really much tighter than the other. That's okay. Honor that. Don't push or have any expectations that it's going to be perfect. Own who you are, where you are now. Take that hand, the left hand, open that leg out to the side, getting a nice inner thigh stretch, taking it just as far as it feels good. On your next exhale, using the energy from both leg and arm, bring that back up through center line, pass the ring off to the right hand and take it across the body, twisting into a full body twist, taking the leg as far as you want to go. It can go all the way down the floor if you like. Nice long stretch on that outer thigh. Bringing it back up through center. Let's get that hamstring one more time. Taking that foot out of the ring, putting the ring aside. Thank you, ring. You've been fun today. We're going to twist to one side and come on up through seated. And we're going to do a little bit more rotation, a couple breaths, and we'll call it a day. So put your legs in whatever position is nice and comfortable for you. Sitting up nice and tall, feeling those bony sits bones plant into the mat. Hands come down to the side. Inhale, hands come up overhead. Exhale, palms together through to the center of your heart. Twist in the right direction. Separate those hands and just feel a great, wonderful rotated stretch here. Don't push into pain. Couple breaths here. Sweeping those hands back out to the side. On an inhale, hands come up overhead. Same thing, palms together through heart center, twisting in the opposite direction at the torso. Hands come apart, one to knee, one behind you. Enjoy the stretch. Let go of any last tensions you were holding on to. Hands come back out through center. Hands can come wherever you want for this. You can do the up and down as we breathe. They can be on your knees, wherever you like. They can be at heart center. Let's just enjoy 3 nice deep breaths together. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And in, and out. Thank you so much for taking your workout time, your fitness, your wellness time with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed Pilates on the porch, and see you again next week. Take care, everybody.